You got a big win last night against the Seattle Seahawks, division opponent, and you handled your business. You got a stop when you needed to get a stop, and you got a score that put you up two touchdowns to close out that game. So they did what they had to do. They piled up some numbers. They had a bunch of guys with hands in it, and
483 yards total.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
Yeah, so the San Francisco 49ers, I mean, that's as complete a win as they've had this year, as far as I'm concerned. I know they beat the Jets pretty handily, but the Jets
they
haven't
settled
been
for
great.
6 field goals in that game.
And the Patriots game was a win, but nobody really gave them a lot of credit for that one. But this was one where their backs were up against the wall. You can't come out of that game 2-4.
Yeah,
you just can't.
Yeah, and everybody's talking about, dude, I love the last 2 days. I didn't tell you. I just like, people saying who they want to see more from. And there was a list. There was a variety. And I feel like those guys, including Purdy, Gindo, nobody even mentioned, thinking he wouldn't even have to be utilized as much. He fills in for injured J.P. Mason. But what about Debo? How good does that feel for him, Steiny? He showed up, showed out. Kittle. And then you had the rookies with Mustafa and our guy
Renardo Green.
Yeah, they got the interception. That was a big one.
Yeah, more Purdy.
I think just going into the game, if they run this is my answer, and simple as that. I just try to keep it simple and obviously check the ball down when I needed to and hit my number 1 or number 2 in my progression as efficiently as I could, and I just kept it simple. Last year in that game, I feel like I just got out of rhythm and I was trying to force stuff, and I just wasn't playing in the right mindset of being aggressive, being smart, and taking what the defense gave me. So I learned my lesson in that game, and then coming into this game, obviously new personnel. It's the Seahawks, not the Ravens, and so for me it was, all right, similar scheme, yes, but this is what we're trying to attack, and how can I be efficient as best as I can? So that was my mindset.
That's Brock Purdy talking about last night's game compared with the Christmas Day game against the Baltimore Ravens. That was the game that, if you weren't listening to the show Wednesday and Thursday, was the game that Dan Dibley and Greg Cosell got very contentious over.
Yeah.
He thought the 49ers, Cosell, were moving the ball with ease.
I'm going to say it's Emmy-worthy. Yeah, that cut-up was Emmy-worthy. But I'll tell you what, why I feel good about the win is Kyle said, you know what, we're not – the Guru, don't even worry about it. It's not going to be 14 totes. They ran the ball 33 times for 228, Steiny, 2 tight ends, and they were saying we're going to run it down Seattle's throat, and they did that.
Yeah, Evan brings up a good point. McDonald, of course, was the defensive coordinator last year for the Ravens. That's why
he was hot. He was mad. He was looking like
McDonald.
Yeah, it looked like Geno Smith or Metcalf. I don't know what was going on, but 2 crucial interceptions. One early on, Seattle was driving down. I was like, oh boy. Early on, when he threw the Geno Smith threw the kind of like, where are you throwing that to, bud? And Renardo Green picked
interception.
It off. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant there was another play in that game where
Mustafa picked it off.
Where
the first
Metcalf.
one.
Yeah, Mustafa was the first one. Green was the kind of the clincher.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought you were talking about the play where Metcalf had a guy beat and he didn't stop. He kind of.
What was he like?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're too much of a veteran. If you stop, they'll probably throw the flag because the DB will run into you. But Lenore had a good game too. Like, dude showed up, man. This is what you call. This is their complete win. This is it.
888-957-9570. Where you at, 49er fans, especially after the last week or two? It's been a little bit tumultuous. You got some guys banged up. You got some questions about the team arising, some doubts surfacing, and you go up to Seattle and win by 12. So now you're 3-3, and you're atop the division, so you control everything again.
And it feels normal.
We're back to where I think a lot of fans think we should be. 888-957-9570. Let's go to Bobby in Los Altos. Bobby was the one who was really disappointed in us, I believe, when we were talking about the petitioning of the uniforms.
Yeah.
But Bobby's
back.
Regular, and we can get over disagreements here. And what's going on, Bobby? How you doing?
Good memory, fellas.
Yeah.
So, of course, look, we have a long-standing relationship. Disagreements are nothing, right?
Exactly.
Obviously, no hate. So there are 2 particular plays that I felt gutted about at the end of the game that were maybe inconsequential. The first is, and I apologize if this has already been discussed, I felt like Garendo kind of slowed up at the end, feeling like, hey, I shouldn't score a touchdown because I want the clock to keep going down. And I was really sad for him because I felt like he was in a no situation. The brother wants his first touchdown. And can you imagine your first touchdown's whatever, a 75-yard scamper, but you feel like you got to do the right thing from a game management standpoint. So I was really sad because then, of course, Juszczyk then just scored a touchdown. Like Shanahan just said, I'm just going to score a touchdown anyway. So I feel like Garendo was like, I just gave up a touchdown to try to save the clock, and you just scored a touchdown. I felt like that was really cold, and I felt really bad for him. And then the second one is, you boys love to talk about, the unicorn chickens, if you want to go back to that. So the kicker, if he had just kind of placed two hands on him and somehow didn't push him out enough, you guys would have destroyed him. So he was also in a no-win situation. He had to go in there and put his body on the line, and I applaud him for it. Sure. Considering, he was eating potato chips 2 days ago, and he got, I don't know what his status of his injury is or whether it affects his leg, but the point is, you guys say, oh, he should have just pushed him out of bounds, or should he have just pretended like many quarterbacks do, like they're kind of tripping and fall down before they even get to the play on an interception? The guy had no choice. These two guys, they got cheated last night, and they deserve a little bit more praise from the fans as well as from our esteemed radio host.
I love you, Bobby. Garendo did the
Bobby.
wrong math, Steiny. His heart was in the right place. It was a great run. Kyle said, hell yeah, you better score. But whatever intel Garendo was using was wrong. And Bobby, don't feel bad for him. He'll learn from that. But Steiny, he should have took that bad boy in. But obviously he was tired after that scamper. So, yeah, the next man up got it. But I was like, what are you doing? What if they wouldn't have got in?
I'm not mad at the kicker.
Oh, you think they practice tackling?
If he could have pushed him out, maybe he should have. But
how about this? The 10 other guys.
That's what happens.
Yeah. Get him.
This is Shanahan on Garendo.
You always feel like guys are close. I mean, we were running the ball pretty well all day. When they're going to really commit to stopping the run and try to get in those 8-man fronts. Got a good bounce read where we got outside, and usually when there's not two safeties there, which I don't think there were, you break them, and he's got the speed to do it. Said he's an eyelash slower than Raheem, and they had a pretty fast guy chasing him, but he said he wanted to give that to Juice, so it ended up working out well. Got to run more time off the clock.
He said he wanted to get Juszczyk a touchdown?
Well, he wouldn't have been able to had Garendo just took it in.
Yeah.
I would have took it in.